hey, go get it, go get it, go get that project that's been yelling at you unconsciously, like, you know you should do it, and you've been putting it off, and you've been thinking about doing it longer than it'll probably take to do it. So let's do that together. Let's do like some task time together, and we'll have a little chat. We'll just hang out, you and me, and I'll probably do a little more of the talking, but maybe that's okay. Maybe you just feel like being a little more of a listener, and I'm gonna do that. What I'm doing is, there was a blowout on the body pillow, so I'm filling it in this other king size pillow, and I know a lot of the fiber fill is clumpy, so it's amazing. It's like, oh, I just have to pull it apart, and I just needed to do that. Do you have something like that? Or maybe there's some crafty stuff, and I just thought we just talk about some things. I don't know, but I'm just here to keep you company, and you'll keep me company, and we're just gonna do this together for a little bit. And God, I mean, and look, if it just helps you to just watch me do this, the ASMR. No, I'm sorry, I don't have one of those little microphones to sit here and talk to you. I'm sorry. I have, and they're mowing the lawn out there, so God, I really hope this isn't too annoying. But the microphone would probably pick that up anyway, right? I don't know. So I'm just kind of pulling this apart. Yeah. No, it's funny when people say to me, I want to say, like, so how you doing? I'm not real good at that. Steve from Blue's Clues. I'm a little older that I never watched Blue's Clues, but I get it. And now as an adult, I can see how he's very healing, and he'll just go like, so how you doing? And it's so interesting because I just feel like I just can't lie these days when people say, so how you doing? And they ask, it's like that. I don't know. In America here, it's just like this. It's like a greeting. It's like part of like, hi, how are you doing? And we don't really, and then you say fine, and then that's it, and then you move on. It's like part of this extended kind of thing. But it just feels like such a lie nowadays, right? Because and it's so much more complex. And maybe that's just my not neurotypical brain. My neurotypical brain that can't just answer yes or no. Do you find that? It's so funny. So I love the complex answers. I love the nuances of life. I love to hear all that's going on. I just love that. Life is so complex for a lot of us. And I like to say, when people say to me, like, how are you? I'm like, well, there's a lot of magic and there's a lot of mess. And that's it. That's where I'm really coming to a place of being okay and feeling comfortable and safe, feeling regulated to share with you like my mess, and not like, my life is so not Pinterest perfect right now at all. There's some really challenging aspects to my life, to parenting, single parenting, medical stuff, and yet, and then we all just kind of go, and all that, right? The world, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. And yet there's so much to finding the magic in the moments, in the mundane. It's kind of like what my work is about. I don't know if you're new to me, if we're just meeting, I guess just a little context here of where I'm coming from. Although, bless your heart, if you're just here like, who is this chick pulling apart fiberfill. Oh, did you find something? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Do you know what? I know sometimes the pause gets lost and then it disappears. So maybe you just want to even take me with you, or just let me keep talking and you can come back and do your thing. But here's the other part is, so I'll get to the other stuff. We're putting intention into it, right? So this is making the mess magic, right? I love metaphors. I love metaphors so much. And here, I'm not just pulling this apart, right? And it's not just like, it's like things get tight, right? Let's look at this as a metaphor. I love that, right? So things are kind of tight and all squished up and they're kind of lumpy and that doesn't feel good. But sometimes we just have to take the time to pull some stuff apart, right? And that's what I'm learning about rest. Is that we need it, right? This is what rest does for us. It just kind of, we can be all lumpy and bumpy, right? And it's going into a pillow. And then, oh, here it goes. We can just pull it all apart. Yes. Does it make sense to do that sometimes? Maybe it's like, Kristy, just freaking throw it out. Just get some new stuff. But I really like the challenge of recycling. I like the environmental impact of not throwing this out, of just giving it new life. I sometimes I wonder if that's just some of my early programming of having done something that was really influential in a time in my life. So my background's in theater design, costumes, set, lighting. I really first got into costume design, and that's what I primarily do because I love the story of people. I love the part of understanding deeply who a character is, or all the characters, and how they express themselves, and how through a story they go on this journey, and how they change, and how do we show that? How does the expression of themselves, how does that change and evolve, and what do they show or not show? It's really fascinating. I love that. I kind of love fabric, and yeah. Oh, it's so interesting. It's just a very well loved pillow. But this is it. This is right? Oh my God, like that. And we just kind of pull it apart. And that's what rest does. It allows us to just fluff out, right? So now this pillow is not just a less lumpy pillow. It is held with this metaphor of the importance of rest, of the benefits of rest, right? That rest, renewal, taking the time to regulate our nervous systems and our bodies, our emotional state, and look at that. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh my gosh. I know. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Why do I always think I should record audio on Tuesdays when the landscapers are outside? Sorry. Hopefully we can clean that up. Oh, there they go. See? Doesn't always last. So it's not just I'm not just doing a chore, right? This is us doing stuff together, right? And there's something to that catharticness of just pulling it apart, even if you're just watching me and it's just somehow helping you regulate, listening to my voice, and poofies, little poofies, yeah. Just giving it more life, like that. So it's not just about this, it's about the fact that this action has intention and it's a physical act. And I have to admit, like I'm a little tired, weary. I feel weary. And yet here we are, just doing this to pull it apart. And this is about rest and how important it is. And so now my body is getting to experience this care task of pulling this all apart, and it gets to have power to it. And my mind is going to remember the softness of that lack of lumps. And consciously, I'll forget it. Consciously, the brain can only hold, I think I've read 7 to 9 conscious thoughts at a time. So when we have to have new thoughts move in, those conscious thoughts become subconscious. People think they don't notice it, or, oh, I'll forget. But actually, as I understand it, not a neuroscience, but I play one in my own life, in my own way. I understand that the subconscious thoughts, it goes from being a conscious thought. I always think that like it's conscious, like it's hitting me. Don't do that with it. It hits me, it becomes a conscious thought. I'm sure this is not the real way, but I think of it as it comes in as a conscious thought. Like I can see it, it's here. You know, I'll see the pillow a few times and be like, oh, look at that. It's all soft and fluffy, and that's like life. And that's what happens. I get soft and fluffy when I rest and I renew and I take care of myself. And then it becomes a conscious thought. It becomes a subconscious thought. Oh my goodness. It becomes a subconscious thought, which then when subconscious thoughts become neural pathways, they get repeated over and over again, and they become like these little highways that you keep thinking the same thoughts, and then it becomes more of a permanent thought, a permanent thing in our brain. Which can be shrunken also. But here we are, just doing this and thinking about rest makes us light and fluffy and fun. And when thoughts are repeated over and over again, our they become neural pathways. That's what they call those little highways. And that's what forms our beliefs and our values and inspires the actions that we take, and in turn how the emotions in our bodies, right? Because thoughts create emotions in our bodies. Like we think something and we feel something around that thought. So here I'm helping to regulate my nervous system around taking care of myself and resting. So as I do this, I'm infusing it with these thoughts of being restful and renewing. And that's the mess and the magic, right? They go together. Yeah. So everything is talking to us. And so when you think you don't notice something anymore, your subconscious is still noticing it. And that's how our homes are so wildly influential on our well-being and powerful and have so much potential to be a partner in our evolution and growth. I like to think of our home, Home, as haven of my enlightenment. Yeah. Yeah. Our homes just have so much potential to help us feel amazing, to help us change our lives. And look, that's often not how we're raised. No, our homes are not designed to inherently make us comfortable. And when I'm also talking about like our bodies, I didn't know this, but I've been talking about nervous system regulation forever. Okay, I'm just gonna pause and see how this sounds. Okay, bathroom break. I just needed a little break there. Okay, so is that abrupt? Okay, so I really hope that you are doing something and maybe you're decluttering, maybe you are fixing something or sorting a doom box with the intention of making room in your life. I realized I started stuffing this and some of it's been well loved. So I should probably just start at the very beginning because there's still lumps. There's still like lumpy, like that has been well loved. Yeah. So I hope that you are doing something and infusing it with love, with attention, with intention of what it is that maybe you're making room for. Like, I just love the metaphors of things, right? Like this is just about reminding me to rest and how important rest is. Okay. Oh my God, there's just all these little tiny balls. Yeah. So just gonna start at the beginning. Look at that. So as you're doing something, you think about like if you're decluttering, like what are you making room for, right? It becomes just so powerful to have an intention to put into the actions. The one time, and I know these are not great for the environment, but and then I say but, I had a little one of those blower things, for the little sidewalk around my last house, and I was feeling a little stressed out. So what I was doing was, as I was blowing it all away, I was just thinking of like, it wasn't just leaves. I was blowing away what wasn't working in my life. And I was just like, push, and it just, and then just, I hate the sound of it. I really prefer to sweep things, but this was just one of those moments that I just needed to get it done. And I'm doing this, and at first I'm like, and I'm blowing shit away. I'm just blowing it all away, and I'm watching it. And as I'm watching it clear the path, and stuff is flying up, and something is releasing in me. There's something about like the physical experience, like even this, like pulling it all apart. There's something to it, like there's something cathartic about that, and making things old new again, right? Things that need a little love, just like we do, right? Just like you and I need a little love. Sometimes we just need a little fluffing. Sometimes I love the metaphor of the fluff and fold, that there have been some groups that I've been a part of that can come in and I can feel like dirty old laundry, like just bagged dirty laundry, all just piled in there. A little musty, a little dirty. Might be some stain. There's probably some stains going on. And, get fluffed and folded. And by the end of and if you're not familiar with fluff and fold, that's like a laundromat thing, like washing and drying and then fold it. But you fluff it up and then fold it and you get it back. And it's like, oh, I feel so much better. Yeah. I feel so much better because I'm fluffed and folded. And I hope that you're feeling that as we do this. And that's part of the point of being able to have an intention of what we're doing, like what we're making room for. Like this is making room for new thoughts, new neural pathways about letting myself rest. Like we just live in a society that is so hustle and it's just not okay. But yet sometimes the best thing you can do is just take a freaking nap. Yeah. So all of this, as I'm talking about our homes, this falls into, you're like, well, what is this, Kristy? So glad you asked. This is about this body of work that I've created, this process. I don't like to call it a system because it makes it feel like there's rules. It's called Fizome. You Fizome your home and you fizz your biz. And it is a process. Fizome, yes, it's a new word, Fizome, and it's because I knew I needed a new word. What I had created was very clear. It was something very innovative and new, and yes, it works with our home like many, like other traditional processes, systems. But this is centered on you, on what you need and who you are. It's not an external system that we like put it on you or um, design from the outside in, from your home. It's really about designing really your home from the inside out, from who you are, what you need, what you love, what you're passionate about, what your brain needs to just be functional in your home. A lot of this work is informed by my own neurospicy brain. And when I say neurospicy, I mean not normal wiring. And I like the spicy part of it. I know that some people love it, some people hate it. The reason I do say that is because I feel like it's more inclusive. If I say neurodivergent, just feels so created by a neurotypical person. The neurospicy part kind of celebrates, first of all, it's inclusive because a lot of people talk about having ADHD or autism or both, but really this could be, I have a brain injury. You might have autism, but you might also have other things, like you might be dyslexic, and that affects how you live in your home. or other things, right? But you might be bipolar. Is that what we call it? Is it still called bipolar? I'm sorry if there's a new name for it. I apologize. I don't know what it is. I feel like there's a new name for it. But you get you understand my heart of that. It feels more inclusive, and I also can feel like there are strengths that come with brains that work in other ways. And I just saw something that companies that, is it engineers that are neurodivergent, like the success rate of like problem solving, saving money is just like better. I know not everybody feels like there are strengths to it, but I really feel like a lot of my creativity and the way my brain works, and if you haven't figured it out, the way I talk all over the place, there's that. And so Fizome is born from needing to have a home that accommodates how I live, like how I function, like what I need specifically, and that there weren't other ways that addressed that. It's also comes from my experience in theater design, costume sets and lighting, and theater is about designing for a character. Did we already talk about that? Sorry. Yeah. That's a good fluffy part. Yeah, we design for a character to tell their story. Yeah. And that evolution. Oh, yeah, I did talk about that, didn't I? Okay, well, here we go again. Never hurts to repeat stuff, right? Yeah, in the setting. So, one of the things that has influenced me a lot, and I think has a big foundation in Fizome's inspiration, is the energetic part of it and how we move through our space and how we feel. There were two directors that I worked with in New York City, and they came to theater from dance, from choreography and dance. And I noticed sitting through a week of dress rehearsals and tech rehearsals and watching the blocking, my job isn't at that point is really to watch the costumes, the sets, the lighting. And I noticed that I felt more calm. There was something that put me at ease when I watched it. And I didn't even really listen so much, but I was just watching how the actors were blocked, how they were directed to move through the set. I guess at that time I was also studying directing. We had an exchange program where I went to graduate school with Columbia, and I got to study with Anne Bogart, who's amazing. And I just noticed how much more at ease my body, like I relaxed watching these actors move through the set way more than the theatrically trained directors. There was something remarkably different that I felt it. I felt now, say like, oh, it like somebody's regulated me. Like it was elegant. It made sense the way they had the set designers design where the furniture, where it was, where the set, how the sets were laid out, and I just noticed people moving around the spaces. It was just, I felt a difference watching them. So carry that forward, and that just always stayed with me. And then in my journey of before there was a lot of all the ADHD information, like back in the 90s and early 2000s, I realized, like, oh, subliminal advertising. Wait, there's something to that. It's changing our mind. It's helping. It's illegal because it works. And having subliminal things on a TV screen makes us buy stuff. Wait. So, what if we use it for good? What if I use it to help myself buy the thoughts that I want to have? Buy into the life I want to have. What if I did that? What if we did that? What if we did that? And then that took me down the road of how else are marketers getting people to buy in stores, because it's where we go to be, manipulated to buy, clearly. And this is even like before social media. This is before online stores that I was doing this research. And I came to learn about how some stores, especially grocery stores here in America, big box stores, are designed to make you go counterclockwise. That how it's not just like the end caps, and I think we all know, like the products that have the biggest profit margins, they put at eye level, and the things that are actually a better deal are either up high or down low, so you don't see that at first glance. And so what if we use that for good? Like the first thing that we see, like you're more likely to buy stuff on what's called the end caps, the ends of the aisles, right? And then you come into the store and it's designed for you to go to counterclockwise, because they know that when you move counterclockwise, you don't feel as good. You don't feel as focused. You feel more foggy. You feel disoriented because you're going counterclockwise. And this is not just like, this is like in the Waldorf schools, the Rudolf Steiner, they talk about, they have kids, clockwise, counterclockwise to reset. In the Kabbalah, it is counterclockwise that is the spiritual path, because it's more challenging, and it brings things up for you to like work through and have a spiritual experience, because you're trying to like work through stuff. Yeah. And so I'm just like sitting here, like, I'm so grateful that I get to share this with you, and that I get to do this work and help people in their homes, and even just know how you can go to the store. So if you go clockwise, if you go against the grain, against the naturally designed flow to manipulate you at the store, you're probably going to feel better. So what does that mean in our homes? Well, sometimes our homes are not designed for us to go clockwise. In fact, the home that I'm in now, I wanted to make sure I liked this floor plan, and there were a couple available, and they're flipped, right? So you walk in and there's stairs to go up to the second floor, and then, or you go into the living room, kitchen areas. And I wanted the one that the stairs were not to the left. I wanted my energy, because it's also about our energy. And that's another thing I've done is, I speak energy. I'm kind of like how there's like medical intuitives that kind of tune in to where the blocks are in a person's body to help them when sometimes nothing else has worked, to figure out what's kind of going on energetically. that with homes. I do that with spaces. Like they kind of talk to me, and I can often feel where or just know where the blocks are in a home, even through the video. It's so cool. Like I love that. When I started to be able to do stuff on video, it's just amazing. So amazing. So, how are you doing? Are you making some progress? This is such a great time if you wanted to grab a box or something and not just sort through it. Or the junk drawer, fold your laundry. What are you doing? It'd be hilarious if somebody else is like, yeah, I need to unfluff my fiber fill too. Gosh, pretty cool. Yeah. Maybe you just need to watch me do this. Maybe that's just helping you regulate. So, I can see that. Okay, so back to clockwise, counterclockwise. Yeah, so in my home, I wanted to make sure that the stairs weren't to the left when I walked in, but to the right, so that the energy is going clockwise to the left when we walk in. And that's the energy comes into our home that we flow into the living part and not the like sleeping part upstairs of our home. Pretty cool. Yeah. So how we move through our space has a huge impact on our mental, like how our body feels. If we feel disoriented, if we feel like I'm exhausted sometimes after going to stores, and yeah, they're meant to overwhelm you, to overstimulate you, so that you get off track and get distracted by all the cool stuff, right? Yeah. So this is kind of fun. Are you having fun? Are you having fun? I think we'll just keep doing some more of these. Yeah. So I'm gonna take a break for a minute, and you get to take one too. Maybe you need to go get something. I need a little drink of water, and yeah, okay. I'm gonna pause here for a moment, and we're gonna come back to this. Yeah. Well, I'm back. Are you back? Did you take a break? Did you get some water? Did you hydrate? Did you go to the bathroom? What is it about getting older? Like I stand up and I have to go to the bathroom. What is that? I know, gravity, but man. Anyway. All right, so here's another part about our home that I want to talk about. And if there's anything that I'm saying in this that you would like me to say more about in a future video, or something that really resonated that you also would like some help in figuring it out. It's interesting to me, kind of fascinating now. So much of this work that I do, what I have come and innovated with Fizome is revolutionary, innovative. Like it's not how we think about home. It's not how we experience our environment. Like thinking about how much the clutter, for a lot of people, clutter or mess affects mental health, but the physical part, the part of your body and how it feels. And that I didn't realize that, that's what we're calling now nervous system regulation, but really starting with where does your body feel best for each area of your home, right? And like in your bedroom, you want to feel where you sleep place where you sleep, you probably want to feel as, I think we always want to start with feeling safe, feeling secure. And our homes are not inherently designed for us to feel safe and secure. They're designed from a more patriarchal place. I was talking with somebody this morning, and she said, well, why would homes not be designed for us to feel safe and secure? I'm like, well, let's think about this. If a wife starts to feel really good and empowered, is she going to be as easy to control? Is she going to start making decisions in a different way? Where she stands at the stove, where she's cooking, where she sleeps, if the first thing she feels when she wakes up in the morning is well rested and empowered, and just like really like wakes up literally on the right side of the bed, right? She might not be as obedient and compliant. So here's something that really is very telling to me. And it took me a long time to get this, that when it comes to working from home, and I've worked with I've had a lot of clients over the years of powerful women who often like have home offices or, run their own businesses out of their home office. And so often the desk is pushed up in the corner. And like they're in a cubicle, right? Like a little spot. And the whole center of the room is wide open. Now, I start with how they feel. I'm not going to say this is where you need to put your desk based on where the door is, where the windows are. We start with the body. Fizome, we start with the body. We listen to what the body feels, and then the mind. We scan. I have people stand like where they are sitting currently, and then we do the same exercise in a different position. Often what would be more commonly feel more empowering. And sometimes we have to try it a few places. And I have them start eyes shut, tuning in, just scanning, being an observer. And hey, if you want to play along at home, you can just kind of do this too, even like right where you are. Just feel your feet rooted in the ground. And as an observer, probably want to close your eyes. And as an observer, you just want to pay attention to how your feet feel and how you feel standing there. And just scanning, totally observing, no judgment, up your legs and through your hips and your torso, and just feel how your lower back feels and if it feels supported or not. And feel into your up your arms and your shoulders, to your arms, your fingers, and then back up your arms to your neck and your head. Just kind of feel how your head sits there on your spine. And then we're going to observe the thoughts, just observing, kind of like just like watching them go by like a parade. And what is the quality of those thoughts? What are those thoughts like? Are they clear? Are they focused? Are they negative or positive? Are they foggy? Are they organized? So just observing. And then kind of just observing how your whole body feels, like your energy. How does your energy feel in that space? Does it feel calm, collected, empowered, expansive? Just kind of, you might not even have words for it, just observing. And then when you're ready, you can just like, you've got a good read on that spot. You just wiggle your fingers and your toes and open your eyes and come back in the room. And you kind of have a good read on how that spot feels. And then it's going to tell you, like, you're sitting down, maybe to work, to say you're sitting down in your office spot. Like, that's how you're sitting down to work. That's what you're working with while you work, right? That's like, if you're the computer, even, like, that's your operating system. And the cool thing is we can change it. And sometimes it means that the best place is moving the desk more into the center of the room, where you feel more empowered and expansive and safe. So when that has come up and it's been really obvious, and I've done this, just video, you can just see it. Most of my work is virtually online on video now, and I can see it. I can see how different they feel, and how often, and I couldn't understand this for decades, how many women would get this, like, terror almost, like they couldn't. I'd be like, oh, okay, so let's move your desk in the middle of the room, and they're like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. There was sometimes there's an excuse, like I have to do this first before, I have to get new carpeting, I have to get a new computer, I have to get something, I have to do something, often for somebody else, before I can do this for myself. And I was like, well, why can't you, and it's like there's this disconnect of, like, why can't you move it? And the one thing I always said, well, I can't, I have to save that space. I'm like, what are you saving it for? Like, is there an activity that you're doing here in the middle of the room? And it was always, one client was like, yeah, I do yoga here every day. I'm like, okay, valid. Find another solution. Okay. But most of the time they couldn't answer it. And I couldn't either, other than just to be baffled by, like, what is that about? And now I get it. It's about taking up space. I've never had a man hesitate to move his desk if it was, like, in a cubicle place, if it was not an empowered place. But men have no problem usually taking up an empowered spot. But the women, that's a whole other story. And it's about taking up space, that we don't feel safe taking up the space of claiming the middle of a room. And sometimes it's your room. Like, it's their room to take up. Like, it's their dedicated home office, and yet they still can't do it. Now, here's one exception that I have found pretty consistently, is that therapists who work online really often need to be facing a window. And sometimes that means for them they feel it's a very strong thing to be able to sit and look out the window, I think, to regulate or see out the window easily, straight ahead, if they are working with clients. And that I understand and respect as a way of self-care and regulation, and so that what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's just off there in a mindset, thinking about some clients and how really hard, and it takes years sometimes, clients to move their desk. And sometimes we need to have these like bridge places, like they might need to move it like semi facing the door but not straight on. And sometimes it is like, well, I have to look out the window, and I get that. And yet there's a level of empowerment that I can see, like, and with no judgment, I say this with a lot of love and my own journey as well, is that sometimes we're just not ready to take that next big, bold move. I mean, I have literally like let go of things. I have moved things with tears flowing down my face because I understood the power of the energetic side of what I was doing by moving the furniture, letting go of the thing. Sometimes those things I loved, but they weren't part of who I was becoming. They were a symbol of who I've been, who I was. Yeah. So yeah. Lost in thought there for a second. What you working on? Are you still working on the same thing? Yeah, I know this is long, but now it's quiet. I mean, now they're doing that. Yeah, so I don't know, like, is there a place coming back to that taking up space? It's powerful, and you know, it often brings like money. Like, I have had quite a few clients that something about $10,000, like they move their desk, and obviously I can't guarantee that. But yeah, obviously good things are going to happen when we move stuff in our home, when our home supports us better. Like, there's just all these little opportunities to keep using our home. Our home is this ongoing tool. And that, like, you're not ready until you're ready. I'm experiencing that right now myself, humbly. One of the Fizome tools for me is, well, part of Fizome is having spaces that support your habits. Like, what is important things that you need to do in your life? Do you have the habit, the place to do the habit? I was kind of excited when I came across Atomic Habits. It's a book, New York Times bestseller, like big, and he talks about like different things. And one of the habits is to have the place in your home to support your habits. Now, I go, obviously at this point, it's probably pretty obvious. It's not just like put your yoga mat where you want to do yoga and, you know, put water next to your desk. Like, it's so much deeper. And when we Fizome, where we start with the story. Before we start figuring out what we're going to do with your home, we start with the story of like who you're becoming. Like, what do we want your home to support you? Like, your vision of your ideal life. How do we start creating that? And where are the blockages in your home that are like all these little annoyances? Because we just think of how we think about home. Like, we don't talk about, we have a mindset around our home, right? Like, we talk about money mindset and how that affects your money and your mindset and how that affects your well-being. But how you think about your home, how you were raised to think about home, has a huge impact on the quality of home. Like, I mean, the quality of like, well, is it like the quality of how you live in your home? I'm not talking about living in a mansion. I'm talking about how you live, like the quality of like how you flow from room to room. You know, like we were talking about moving clockwise. Like, is there friction in how you flow? Is it helping you feel clear and empowered, or is it undermining how you feel? Like, you know, you walk into a room and you forget what you came in there for. You know, that doesn't happen to me very often. And really, you know, on paper, I should be forgetting shit all the time. Every day. Should be happening to me all the time. But you know what? It barely happens to me. Because how I flow through my home. Now, part of that is by design. Choosing a design. I have not yet gotten to design my own home yet. That'll be very cool when I get to do that. But that's also finding the right architect. But how I flow through my home. But like I said, the floor plan, like I chose a floor plan that was conducive to how the energy flows with the most ease through this home. It doesn't mean I'm never foggy. Like, it doesn't mean that, because I've got some other things going on health-wise that contribute to that. But that's from within me, and it's not my outside home contributing to my fog and fatigue. A home to me is a tool in the partnership of my growth and evolution. Years ago, when I came up with the word Fizome, the name Fizome, and it's Fizome, and it really came from the results a lot of my clients were saying. I'm like, Kristy, it's the weirdest thing. I have so much more energy, and yet I have this sense of inner peace, right? And there's like the fizz energy and the om of it, OME, home, coming home to ourselves. So, yeah, she's like, another client was like, you know, you have this cute little word, Fizome, you Fizome your home, and you fizz your biz, and you're all cute about it. She said, but you trick us. I'm like, She's like, yeah, this is really intense work that we're doing here, like recognizing what's going on in our homes and our lives. And it's like, she goes, this is deep transformational work, but you dress it up as this cute little thing. I'm like, She says, like, I said, would you have signed up as much if I said this is going to be deep transformational work? And she's like, no, I needed to know it was going to be fun. I'm like, well, is it fun too? She's like, yeah, it is fun too. It is fun. See, to me, our home can have these different layers and levels. Our home can be a tool for transformation and manifestation. It can be a creative outlet. And it can be a healing modality. Like, truly, you know, we think that as spiritual beings, like, you know, it's like, oh, well, I just got this, I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience. Well, yeah. And your physical experience is having an impact on you. It's having an impact on you. And if you think it's not, you're a bit delulu. Because even, and it's not about clutter, per se. I mean, because really, you can have some minimalism can be just another coping mechanism in response to trauma. It can be a way to control the environment. It can be like, and let's face it, traumas happen in homes. I don't know what the percentage of homes, I don't know what the percentage of homes, of traumas, like in the whole world of traumas, or, you know, serious traumas, happen in homes versus outside of the home. But let's face it, it's not good stuff, right? So we have that. We have layers of that. And trying to control our home can be a coping mechanism, and having minimalist stuff can be a coping mechanism, just as maximalist stuff or hoarding. And I'm not going to get into like, there's a whole other level of mental health and hoarding that I do not feel capable. Like, I'm not qualified. That is not for me to do. I mean, I guess if a mental health professional had somebody who was open to it, I would of course do that, but only in partnership, in collaboration with a mental health professional. Anyways, and even then, I think there's more. Anyway, I'm not putting that out there. Please don't put that out there. Okay, so stuff that happens in homes. So here's the other thing, right, to be aware of is, we don't talk about this, but say you're doing all this beautiful healing work and you're journaling and you're meditating, and maybe then you have a Zoom call with your therapist, but the things that you're looking at even while you're having therapy, or when you open your eyes up from doing your meditation or your healing work, there's something there that's triggering you from the exact trauma that you're trying to heal from. Yeah. So let's acknowledge that our homes are having that impact, and it's going on in the background over and over and over, right? Because every time you see it, remember, I talked about before, your subconscious mind is remembering everything, repeating it over and over, creating neural pathways. Yeah. So you're like, oh my God, so what's the solution? Fizome is a fucking solution. I will work with you and help you figure out how your home is sabotaging you, both on the mental level, on the mundane. You need accommodations because the way your brain is wired and the way all the experts talk about organizing and decluttering is not meant for how our brains work. Yeah. So, but I did create a decluttering process for all the ways our nonlinear brains get distracted and how to work through a room. Yeah, and it's not just like trash first, because sometimes we come back and we leave, and yeah, so and some are tools that a lot of people use, like a timer, and others are like the color red to help remind you of where to start and where to come back to, and moving clockwise. Remember we talked about clockwise, right? If you're trying to clean up a room and you're bouncing around like a ping pong ball, how efficient are you? Oh my gosh, right? You can work for hours and do tons of stuff and have a decluttering hangover and then feel like you have nothing to show for it. We need to build up the dopamine. We need to build up our self-confidence that we are capable and that we can trust ourselves that we can do it. Because I don't know how to not be a naturally neat person. I'm not there in my evolution yet. Will I ever be? I don't know. Like, and right now my life is fucking messy. I got some messy stuff going on. I got life happening, and so sometimes things don't all get tidied up right away and cleaned up. But you know what? Here's the thing. We have a system. We have a way to clean it up in an efficient way that works with the way my brain works. So cool. Yeah, so, I do, if all this is like, yeah, she's my check, like, cool. I am relaunching my membership, Mess and Magic, not or, no, because life is always going to be messy in some ways, probably, you know, like, as far as I can tell, there's going to be messy parts to life, so, but it can still be magic, and that is the magic, is when we admit and embrace the mess at the same time. Oh, my friend. So, I think I'm coming to the end here. I think this is the end. If you've made it this far with me, you let me know. It's always like, oh, that's who I was with. Oh, that's their energy. And I really hope that you have used some of this time to get something done. And I hope that also, that you're thinking about your home differently, that you're looking around, and look, this is not about judging yourself. This is an ongoing evolution and process. It's not like we set it and it's done. Some things we set, but other things it's like, oh, I just had this big breakthrough. I just had this big aha, or I'm so blocked. I'm so fucking stuck in my life. And then we look around, it's like, well, what can we do in our home? Where's that stuck showing up? What is the story I want to be living? And then what do we need to do in our homes? And look, this is not about redecorating. Like I've said, I'm like sitting here refluffing old fiber fill. Like, for fuck's sake. It's about using, I mean, yeah, you can go buy all new stuff if you want. But it's also about using what you have and giving it new metaphors, and it's not about like the newest trends. To me, like houses, like decor trends are really like small talk. I'm just like everybody, kind of whatever. It's not the depth of your soul. Like, you know, you are such an expressed human being and deeply connected, and so I would just want your home to be that for you too. So reach out. Probably the easiest way is to just DM me and let me know that you're interested in some Fizome in your life, like you would like to have it supported, and I'd be happy to, no obligation. You know, I don't know if you've kind of figured this out, like I'm not like a salesperson, like I'm not gonna be like, can I ask you this, can I ask you a question, like no, I'm not gonna pick at your pain points, and just an honest conversation, like see if we're a good match, because this is also a collaboration. We have to be able to collaborate together. You're the expert of your life. I might know what to do with it to help you, but it's always a collaboration. I'm not telling you what to do, you know, that doesn't work for you. Make suggestions. There's no rules. There's no shame. I love to see mess. I absolutely love to see the mess, because to me that's just pure opportunity. All right, my friend. More to come. Please subscribe and like, and you know, do the things so that I know that, first of all, that you're there and others can find this too, and let me know if there's something you'd like me to talk more about, or if you would like help in your home. I would be so honored and delighted to Fizome with you. Let me know. You have to take the first step. This is an action thing.